So again, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us again today. Again, in this month's edition of Copilot Newsroom, we'll be walking through the latest and greatest updates on Copilot agents, Copilot control system, and the end user capabilities, and talk a little bit about what's coming next. So again, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are joining from, and let's go ahead and get started. So again, in today's program, talking through the latest and greatest updates on agents, the Copilot control system, and the end user capabilities. Just to do a little bit of an intro, if you're unfamiliar about us, we represent Reply. Reply is a decentralized network of highly specialized companies. We represent over 200 plus companies worldwide, and each of us with a specific specialty. Us here at Valorem Reply, we specialize in modern work. And again, that allows us to highly specialize in our competencies and again, deliver what we describe as modern work. Microsoft at our heart, we are a Microsoft-only shop. Again, being that we are able to specialize in these tools, we are able to provide services in the modern work area. But if there is a more niche need that you find at your organization, there's probably a different reply for that, right? But Microsoft Solutions Partner, we have lots of credentials. We've been working in this Microsoft space for years. And here are some of our services. So our service areas, modern workplace strategy, whether it's through a migration, a relaunch of an intranet, or a custom solution build, we can help optimize your business operations, maybe digitize what is a pen and paper process, or just help your organization work more efficiently. Adoption and change management, we believe that change sits at the heart of any technology tool or any sort of change that you try to bring about in modern work. That's why we all recognize that every role has an important part to play, and we specialize in sort of meeting you where you're at in terms of the change journey. Again, whether it's a new technical tool or just helping understand the tool that you're using. User and experience and design, again, being that we create custom solutions, we have the ability and the design expertise to really work in the space. And again, build, migration, and implementation, whether it's a SharePoint, whether it's your move from a social platform, or it may be a custom solution, whether it's an agent or an application. These are all sort of our service expertise areas. Again, so here's a little bit of a closer look at our different offerings. We specialize in the employee experience, specifically with intranets, Viva Suite, business applications and Power Platform, migrations, and re-platforming from older versions of SharePoint to homegrown solutions onto SharePoint Online, automation and AI with Power Automate, Copilot agents, third-party connections, and governance around all of the aforementioned areas as well. So just to introduce you to who we are, our special correspondents, you have myself. My name is Will Lee. I'm a senior Microsoft consultant based out of Chicago. I've been with Reply a little over 6 years, and I specialize in Power Platform, Azure, and most recently Copilot. With that, I'll also hand it off to my colleague Sharon to introduce herself as well.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Sharon, and I'm also an M365 consultant focusing on all things within the Microsoft space. Excited to be here and deliver the end user updates to everyone on this call today. And yeah, passing it back on to Will to get us started with today's session.
Perfect. Thanks, Sharon. So yeah, jumping right into agents. So one of the changes with agents that is relatively new is agent mode in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Agent mode helps users edit and refine files, while Copilot transparently reasons through and applies changes, giving you as a user the flexibility and ability to control or review and steer outcomes along the way. So if you've ever used an agent versus Copilot chat, you'll notice a stark difference in the way that it's able to reason, the way that it thinks through, and the way that it executes steps. And there's much more involvement throughout the way where Copilot, the agent, will ask you clarifying questions or just, again, be a little bit more tailored and highly specialized in what it's doing. And we can further that experience through, again, agents in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. The agents will, again, specialize in what they're doing within the respective app that you're working in, as opposed to Copilot Chat, which may have a more sort of which may serve a more broad and general Gen AI tool purpose. So this is uh, again, having transparency control, active co-editing, and different access options. Agents allow us to have a little bit more flexibility and control when we work within these specific tools that we may be already working in every day. So Copilot Chat, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint agents from Copilot Chat. In terms of the previous slide, we were able to now work within the productivity apps with an agent, via an agent. Now we are also able to work with those different applications via the Copilot Chat from an agent view. And so this is really neat for doing one prompt drafts. I think Microsoft is really steering towards this direction of simplifying the draft process, right? So having a one prompt draft or faster first draft really just helps eliminate some of that writer's block, helping you start the process, getting over that initial analysis paralysis stage, and really just having something to edit and review rather than completely starting from scratch. It can be a little bit daunting or intimidating sometimes when you have to start completely from scratch, and you may not completely trust the AI tool, but having a draft to work off of and maybe help even spark or inspire some ideas, right, for the end goal that you may be working towards. It's definitely a great way to improve that sort of drafting process. And one thing I'll note is that from my previous experience, the one prompt drafting, it was not great. If I asked Copilot to, hey, create an Excel file, or hey, create a Word document, or hey, create a PowerPoint presentation on the following topic, I found that oftentimes if you weren't very, very specific with your prompt, and even sometimes when you were, it would take a few steps to get to that final stage that you would want, and even then there would be a lot of manual lift and shift to finalize and polish each of the slides or each of the tables that are in your document. So I think that experience through agents has gotten a lot better. So next is grounding agents on a Copilot notebook. So agents can now be grounded within a Copilot notebook as if it were content. I think having Copilot and the specific chat pane that you're opening with that chat with the AI tool, and have it be able to index only context from within that Copilot notebook or whatever it has access to. I think again, very similar to the reason we use agents is to highly specialize and make that tool a little bit more niche. So grounding agents in a Copilot notebook, it can draw directly from the references, notes, and working materials stored within. Stronger context awareness and more consistent tailored responses, again, if this is what you were looking to do. Okay. Next, we have the Copilot control system. So the Copilot control system provides integrated enterprise-grade controls that empower IT admins and security professionals to feel a little bit more confident about Copilot, the tool, and sort of the AI interactions that are happening across their ecosystem. Copilot Chat Insights and Copilot Dashboard. So one of the changes that have been made recently is that Viva now expands Copilot Chat from tenants with fewer than 50. So previously, if your tenant had fewer than 50 Copilot licenses, you would not have access to some of these insights within the Copilot dashboard. But Microsoft has since lowered that threshold. So even if you have as few as just one license, you will not have access to view some of these insights in Copilot Chat within the dashboard itself. So some of the new metrics, adoption analytics, some of these views have been simplified so you can view usage over time, adoption over specific groups, app level breakdowns, and retention as well. So you can take a look at who's really using the Copilot Chat and continuing to use the tool. And then you have the ability to segment some of your views as well. So filtering by organizational attributes, if you want to look at group usage or adoption trends within specific departments or within specific job titles or roles, right? You have the ability to do so within the new and improved Copilot dashboard. Next, we'll be talking about Purview. So Purview, there has been some more integrations with the Microsoft 365 Admin Center to sort of help streamline the security and governance process for Copilot. I know this is something that a lot of customers I work with have have struggled with as well for some reason. There's just lots of different controls for Copilot that have impact on the end user Copilot experience that are sort of scattered throughout. There are some that sit within the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. There are some that sit within Microsoft Purview. There are some that sit within the SharePoint Admin Center or SharePoint Advanced Management Tool, right? So understanding how each of them overlaps with each other and work with each other can be a little bit, again, confusing. So it's good to see that Microsoft is working towards integrating some of these admin centers and configuration tools to help streamline that process. But again, the main sort of purpose of being within Purview is to identify oversharing risks. So the main tool of Purview is to, again, be able to dig in to some of these AI interactions. If you suspect that there's suspicious behavior going on, there's someone, maybe whether it be intentional or unintentional, there's certain AI interactions that are being flagged for unethical behavior or suspicious behavior that would be, alerted to specific admins in Purview, and some of that would come through here as well in risk visibility. You can also protect sensitive data using sensitivity labels and in combination with data loss prevention policies. And compliance actions as well. If you can configure Purview to say, hey, on a certain, if we identify that a certain user is deemed to be at a certain risk score, we can turn off Copilot as a tool for them altogether. We can alert certain admins and have them take corresponding action, whether it be escalate or contact that person directly. There are different configuration tools in Purview that allow for, again, the sort of governance or the security piece on Copilot. There's a redesigned Copilot overview page, so this helps again get a better understanding for IT admins of what's going on across the organization in terms of a unified view of Copilot chat agents and Microsoft 365 Copilot, being able to look at the total license number of users, the adoption trends, and whether or not those licenses are actually being used, helps you understand at a quick level, at a high level, and make a quick decision about, hey, whether or not we need to move these licenses so that they're actually being used. And the purpose of this redesigned overview page is to, again, give you all of those high-level insights right front and center so that you can make those educated decisions and assess where your organization is at Copilot maturity-wise. And to continue on with that readiness page, right, there's some more settings, a structured checklist, progress tracking, being confident in your deployment. So if you have agents and you have a specific process that you want that deployment plan to follow, something you can ensure throughout this readiness page. And rollout timing is earlier last month in January, so this should already be available. And again, if this is a super useful tool for, I think, organizations who are looking to maybe license their users with Copilot, organizations who have already licensed their users with Copilot and are looking to have a quick understanding or a high-level overview, and maybe if you want to, show these numbers, socialize some of these numbers to your leadership or your managers, this Copilot readiness page would help you understand some of those insights. Next, we have automated Copilot adoption readiness assessment. So this helps organizations prepare for Copilot using API-driven analysis instead of manual checks. So previously, there was a questionnaire that we sort of had to run through with any organization that wanted to start using Copilot. It was a sort of readiness assessment. It asked different questions like how many, E5 or E3 licenses do you have? How many folks do you have that are interested in using Copilot? And then there's some more of the technical questions about their organization. How are some of the how many teams and channels do you guys have? What month update channel are you guys on? Because some of these things, again, are important and have large implications on whether or not the organization is ready to use Copilot. So what started off as an Excel file, Excel manual questionnaire, Microsoft then turned into a website where, again, you can input different information about your tenant, your organization, and it would return to you a sort of score based on how ready it would be calculated, 80%, you guys are 80% ready to use Copilot as an organization. It would also flag any high risks or blockers that, would seriously impede the deployment of Copilot across your org. And now there is this sort of automated process where, again, Microsoft APIs and using Graph APIs to get a better understanding of your organization's maturity state and help you make a decision there. So again, this is a super useful assessment for, I think, folks or organizations that are either you looking to use Copilot or license their users with Copilot or are already using it and trying to understand how they can optimize or where there may be gaps. Okay, and then general availability of M365 Copilot Business. So Microsoft is releasing more and more Copilots. There's a ton of them. Copilot Business is a new one, but it delivers full-featured, secure AI for small and mid-sized businesses. So this is the sort of target audience there for a more affordable price. So I think retail $21 per user per month, which is again a little bit cheaper than the standard $30 per user per month. But again, just another SKU that's a little bit more affordable and meant for small to mid-sized businesses that that offers the Gen AI tool and Copilots in that way. Okay, so that's it from me for agents and Copilot control system. I'll now hand it off to my colleague Sharon to walk us through the end user capabilities.
Thanks, Will. Walking through some of the end user capabilities now, starting off with our latest update with the introduction of GPT 5.2 in Microsoft 365 Copilot. Again, now within Copilot, you can leverage the greatest sort of OpenAI model, which is GPT 5.2, allowing you to interact with a model that allows for greater reasoning, faster everyday assistance, and deeper work-grounded insights. Again, this allows end users to really interact with Copilot and lets Copilot do the work in identifying whether you need a quick answer, which uses GPT 5.2 Instant, or more advanced reasoning, again, leveraging that 5.2 thinking sort of model within that, allowing you as the end user to ask questions with ease, and it runs in the background and identifies the best response that you need. With this feature, we also have the additional layer of intelligence using Work IQ, allowing Copilot to continue to reason across different meetings, emails, and documents for better insights. Again, this allows you to do your research and planning all within one safe space. Your information is kept secure and grounded within the information that you provided. This new update is also not only available within your Microsoft Copilot chat, but it's also available within Copilot Studio. So if you're someone who likes building agents or sort of gets into that space of development, you also have that capability to access the latest and greatest model within that space. With our next update, we have the voice chat reference memory within the Microsoft 365 Copilot app. Essentially, your voice chat allows for a different way of ingesting information and interacting with Copilot. Copilot voice chats now can store your actual memory within its space to deliver more personalized and context-aware responses. So while you can interact with chat by responding to it and typing it in, with Copilot voice chats, you can just have Copilot reiterate and read sort of content out to you. And this allows for the stored memory to actually act as a way to personalize your experience with Copilot voice chat. Again, it draws on your existing memories, but this is still secure. Users have the ability to go back into the actual memory and decide what you'd like to store within that space, giving you all control and still allowing for personalization within that space, allowing you to interact with Copilot without having to reprompt and actually relist your preferences and details of how you'd like Copilot to respond to you. Up next, again, we have thinking about that voice experience. We take it one step further. Copilot now offers that within Outlook, allowing you to actually continue to use that hands-free approach when catching up with emails or summarizing different actions and taking actions on your actual Outlook inbox. So when you think about running between meetings or just trying to access information on the go, Copilot's ability to use that voice experience allows you to reference these files, and Copilot can actually summarize your email threads, your unread emails, and also allow you to understand what needs quick attention or just a quick reference. So with this and with your guided voice actions, you can actually even draft replies. You can delete, archive, pin, or flag emails through your own voice commands, allowing you to continue to streamline your inbox management on the go, making sure that you're able to get to the tasks that you need to get to with ease. Again, this is really simple to use. The experience is fully launched within your Outlook itself. So if you go onto Outlook within your mobile home screen and click into it, you have that Copilot toggle that appears on the right-hand side at the bottom. And you click on that, you can simply access that voice catch-up as well. This has been available for our iOS users starting January. And then again, this is rolling out to Android users this month. So everyone is covered with Copilot's latest and greatest updates. Switching on next into, again, within our Outlook space, but thinking about grounding in emails and text. In the past, where we've had that capability of using Copilot, users have had to maybe copy and paste different instances to fully leverage Copilot in its fullest ability. But now Copilot Chat in Outlook allows users to actually use Copilot and ground it within the exact content that they're enabling and opening in this moment. Essentially, when you come into your Outlook and you have an open email, Copilot will automatically refer to that as the grounded source, and it will start coming up with responses or even allowing you to ask it questions based on that open email. And you can take it one step further by highlighting text. And when you highlight text, that grounding is further taken into that specific content, allowing you again to just refer to the actual points that you'd like to focus on, and allowing Copilot to come up with answers based on that. So less manual work, less copy and pasting, and you can just access it within the actual Outlook space. Up next, again, we have taking actions using natural language. So we talked about voice controls, but you can again talk to your Copilot chat using natural language and do those same actions such as marking things as read or unread, pinning it, flagging it, or archiving emails by simply interacting with your Copilot chat window. So if you ask Copilot to do those actions, you can continue to use your natural language and have it go through your inbox. Think of it really as your personal assistant. It will listen to sort of the commands and prompts that are being listed out within the chat pane, and it'll be able to take action on that, allowing you again to clear your inbox, make sure that you're reducing clutter with just a few clicks or a few commands in this space. Again, this works across both Outlook as well as the Microsoft 365 Copilot app. It allows for consistency and allows you to access these features wherever you are. And then up next, again, we have setting up our automatic replies using natural language. Especially useful if you think about either being out of office for a while or planning your PTO. In the past, you would have had to navigate to Outlook, find the settings, and configure your out of office by clicking in and writing things out. But now you can actually just work with Copilot Chat, give it a prompt, and configure your out of office all within one seamless experience. You can simply write your out of office date, specify the date, the range, and it can even refer to your previous writing styles to write it again in your voice and in your tone, allowing you to configure things without having to navigate to different settings and toggles. Again, just streamlining the overall process. And up next, we have our stored workbooks for Copilot in Excel. So you now have your ability to actually store your or work with Copilot within locally stored workbooks. These are also supported. In the past, Copilot was best utilized for all the sort of files that are stored in the cloud, but now Copilot in Excel allows for the same functionality with your locally stored workbooks, allowing you to again have that same consistent experience across your storage locations. So Copilot still has all of those features. It can operate, again, when we're thinking about modern workbooks that are stored locally, you can still continue to access Copilot, have the latest and greatest functionalities within this space, and benefit from all the functionalities it provides you with. So quicker responses, being able to do your work, whether you have it stored in the cloud or locally to your sort of local device as well. There's no need to now uproot different workbooks and store it separately. Copilot will continue to act the same regardless. And so you can just have your work be streamlined in that way. Switching gears on over into PowerPoint, we have a few updates again within PowerPoint started rolling out last month. We have the view-only mode for Copilot in PowerPoint, especially useful if you are an editor or maybe an approver or an executive that might not have edit access to PowerPoint. You can still access and leverage Copilot to answer questions about your PowerPoint deck. It can still summarize information, it can clarify content, do all of the great functionalities that it allows you to do without you needing to have edit permissions to actually engage with that content. So you can use Copilot in read-only presentations. You can get those answers, summarize all of that content. And again, just keeping in mind that now edit permissions are not needed to actually have a little bit of deeper engagement with that. You can still select pieces of the deck and ask questions based on that as well. Again, thinking about more sort of functionalities within our PowerPoint space, you now have greater control when you're going ahead and creating presentations. Copilot allows you now to select, it gives you a few prompts. It allows you to select your deck length, your narrative style, your slide style, and even allows you to actually allow Copilot to include AI-generated images to, again, refine your actual presentation, make it more visually engaging as well. If you see in this image here on the right, you can see that when you create a presentation, it'll give you suggested options for the length. The first option is suggested by Copilot, but the other ones will show you a short, medium, or long range, allowing you again to refine your content and allow Copilot to work smarter within the space. So now when you come in here, you can work with Copilot to create decks a lot faster and easier, and then you can do the actual work of refining that content once it goes ahead and creates an actual draft. And last but certainly not least, for our end user updates, we have source-specific filters within Copilot Search. Essentially, your source-specific filters allow you to improve that overall Copilot search experience by allowing you to dwindle down and select the areas that you're looking for information within. In the past, we might have seen when Copilot was really early on, you had the ability to ask for questions and it would reference a lot of images. But now again, our AI is just getting smarter and better. So you have more specific filters that appear within Copilot Search, allowing you to search even all the way down to type of documents or even your projects. So looking down into your exact searches, it now allows you to get information a lot faster, a lot quicker, and more relevant to what you are searching for. So you as the end user, you can now search intuitively. You don't have to take in a lot of extra steps. And again, this works across your Microsoft 365 as well as any connectors that are within the connected systems with Copilot connectors. It'll also be able to reference that sort of information in there as well. This is now a generally available update across Copilot Search, so definitely something that is really great to boost productivity and just test out if you haven't done so already. But that is it from me for the end user updates for this month. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back on to Will to talk through the roadmap for this month.
Perfect. Thanks, Sharon, for walking us through those end user updates. There's certainly a lot of exciting things to come. We like to close out our sessions talking about what's next to come and on the public roadmap and what some of the things we're excited about. Some of the things that have launched recently, again, We talked about a lot of the Copilot agents, control system, and end user updates. You can see a summary of these here. We'll share these out as well. The Graph API Copilot for Microsoft 365 usage, the fact that that has become available is certainly a plus for developers if you're looking to leverage that API in some of your analytics or some of your custom solutions. Data loss prevention, restricting Copilot processing on content with sensitivity labels, DLP policies, anything in the way to help IT admins get some more granular control over the content that might be out there. Obviously, there's a lot of work that needs to go into actually applying those labels and labeling the data, but once it's labeled, again, the ability to restrict Copilot processing on some of that data is definitely a big plus. Admins also can create and deploy custom model context protocol connectors across M365. I think again, this just is another plus for developers who are, looking to make custom connectors, have a little bit more granular control over how the data is being moved across how different systems or applications in that way. So these are some of the updates that I'm personally excited to see in the upcoming months or have already come out. So here are some new items that are in development. So some updates in PowerPoint to license requests, watermarks. Some of the updates that I'm excited about are the Viva Copilot Analytics. So configuration insights in the dashboard readiness page and export metrics in the Copilot dashboard at a day level. I think it's always good to be able to look at historic trends and be able to capture, what the analytics were at that point in time, and be able to, have just more information at your disposal to make a better, more educated decision. I think is definitely a plus. So thank you again for joining us today on our February edition of Copilot Newsroom. Again, thank you for joining us. I think we are going to spend the rest of the time addressing questions and answers. If you need any help or want to speak with an expert one-on-one about your Copilot needs and challenges, there's an email address for you to send your questions that way, marketing@valoremreply.com. Otherwise, you can feel free to drop a question in the questions and answers.